Yep.
Okay, 28 people have finished. Alright, so once that is done, you can close this and let's go to source. Let's open up one of the pages. Let's start with the home page probably. So let's go to home.jsx, sorry. Home.jsx. This is what we'll be working on. So all of you open home.jsx and I'll show you how the actual animation itself is done. All of you open home.jsx. Okay, I'm hoping you guys have opened frame of motion. First thing you do is go to the top of the file and import frame of motion, okay? Again, this is a named export, so you would do import with the braces and say motion from frame of motion. Once you do that, the import is done. We'll have to define two different pieces of code, at least two. First thing, so what you'll do is go right above, make a line, new line right above your return function, and let's introduce a little array, okay? So let's say const easing is equal to, and then declare an array, and inside this array we're going to put 4 different values. I'll tell you what each piece does in a minute. Just do the coding along with me first. So 0.6 is minus 0.05, 0.01 and 0.99. Okay, so just put those 4 pieces, those 4 numbers in. Once you've done that, just react to my message, import, and then create the array over here, okay? .22. Okay, make it quicker, guys. .627. Okay, good. Next, what I want you to do is create a little object underneath it. Let's call this const fade in 1, okay? For now, let's just call this fade in 1. And we're going to put some values inside it, inside which we're going to have 2 more objects. First object would be called initial, and let's put some values inside initial. So there's only one key value pair inside this, which would be your opacity, and we'll set this to 0. And right below initial, we're going to create another object. Let's call this animate, and let's call this let's put some more key values in here. First what we're going to say is opacity, and we're going to set this to 1. Once that is done, we're going to set a transition. This is another object inside the object, okay? So we're going to set transition, and we're going to say duration 1.5, and we're going to say easing. That's it. So just type this function, type this object down entirely, the fade in one object. Just type in every line. Make sure you have the order correctly, okay? One object inside which you have two more objects. The second object animate would have two more key value pairs inside. The second key value pair is an object by itself with two more key value pairs inside it. So define all of that for me, and once that is done, react to my message. (27, 28). Okay, perfect. Now what I want you to do is scroll down, and right below the opening tag for your layout, create a new line, and over here we're going to type a new wrapper, and we're going to create a new wrapper. So what I'm going to say is motion.div, and close it, and inside which we're going to have a couple of attributes. Okay, first attribute would be exit, and we're going to say exit. Then we're going to say initial, and I'm going to say initial. I'm going to say animate, and I'm going to say animate again. And once that is done, I'm going to have another wrapper inside this. Okay, again I'm going to say motion.div. So I basically have two motion divs, okay, one inside the other, and then the second one would have an attribute called the variance, and we'll set this variance to the name of the object we have on top, which is fade in one, right? So just put that in. Done. Now inside motion.div, like inside the second inner one, we are going to cut the first component that we are exporting, the create node component. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to paste it inside it. Okay, so all of you just make that, write that code down, cut the component that you're exporting, the first component alone, and then paste it inside motion.div. Okay, just do that. Once all of you have done that, react to my message. If you've done that, what you can do is on top, right, you have const fade in one, right? You have an object here. Copy that entire object, copy it, and then paste it right below again, but change the word fade in one to fade in two. So you have two different objects, one called fade in one, the other one called fade in two. In fade in two, what you can do is you can just switch the duration from 1.5 to 2.5 and save. Okay, just copy the fade in one, paste it right below fade in one, and then change the name to fade in two. So you have two different objects, okay, 1 and 2, and one would have a duration of 1.5 units, the 2 would have a duration of 2.5 units. Okay, do that change, and at the bottom what we can do is I'm simply going to copy these two lines, and I'm going to paste it over here, and I'm going to put closing tags and save it. So you basically have two different components that you're exporting, and both these components are between motion div wrappers, okay? So the first one would be called fade-in1, the second one would be called fade-in2. I hope that made sense, the entire change that I just made, okay? Guys, there's one little typo here. Look at the spelling of initial. It should have been INITIAL. I think. Okay, let's see. Yep, I made the same mistake everywhere. Right. Just fix the typo, please. I made a stupid mistake. And even the names of, even the values inside the attribute, even that should be changed. All of you done? Please scroll up, okay. Done? Jennifer, if you're done, just react to your own message. Okay. That's it, guys. Once you've put all of this in, we can go look at your output. So at the moment, my output is on the home page, right? So just refresh the home page once, and you should see the output. You see the little fade-in effect that happens, right? The first component renders after 1.5 units. The second component takes 2.5 units to render. All of you see the output? If you see the output, then just respond to my message. React to my message if all of you have gotten the output. Just refresh the page in order to see the effect, okay? First component comes in at 1.5, second component comes in at 2.5, and it's a slow, gentle fade-in. Do all of you see the output? React to my message if you do. In case it says fail to compile, stop the app and start it again, okay? Guys, the spelling of initial for me was wrong. Make sure you change the spelling of initial everywhere in the entire file, okay? Just check that alone, and then see you should get the output. This is very simple. All of you done? 13 outputs. You guys stuck somewhere? Just let me know. All you have to do is create 2 different motion div wrappers and put each component inside one, okay? All you do is cut and paste. Don't write everything from scratch. It'll be kind of hard. It'll be confusing. $23. Okay. How many more? 24. $26. Are you guys stuck? Let me know if you're stuck. We can finish this faster if you guys code a little faster. 28. Okay, cool. So basically what this does is that in order to make a component, in order to animate a component, you would have to wrap it between 2 different motion divs, okay? So what this motion.div basically does is it renders a div with some sort of styling, okay? So you can define the props for that particular wrapper component using attributes like these, okay? So basically what happens is you're saying initially I want you to use the initial object in order to, animate this component. So what initial basically does is it sets something called the opacity to 0. And if you guys are wondering what opacity is, I'll show you a quick, little picture of what opacity basically is. So just look at this picture, okay? And if you look at the bottom, we have 3 red squares, right? Imagine the blue is some sort of background, some solid color background, and it's blue in color. In order to explain what opacity is, just look at the red boxes. This red box on the left has an opacity of 100%. The one in the middle has an opacity of 50%. And the one on the right side has an opacity of 25%. And if you have an opacity of 0, this red box would go missing completely. It'll basically be transparent entirely. So opacity is nothing but how transparent or how opaque an object is. And usually in coding, both CSS and JS, when you define opacity, it can be anywhere between 0 to 1. 1 being the highest, 1 basically represents 100%, and 0 represents 0%. So basically 0 to 1 can be used to define the state of how opaque or how transparent an object or a component is. So that's basically what we're doing in our code as well. What we're doing is we are saying the initial opacity of all components should be 0. So when the page loads, none of the components will be visible, but I want you to animate it, and when I animate it, I'm tapping into the second object over here. So when I'm animating it, I'm saying the opacity at the end of the animation should be 1, meaning the opacity of that component should go from 0, not visible, to 1, fully visible or fully opaque. And how I want you to go from 0 to 1 is that I want you to use a transition. This transition is going to have what's known as an easing. And if you look at easing on top, you've defined an array on top, right? So these are what's known as keyframes. Keyframes are nothing but specific points in time during which an animation should do something. So if I say 0.6 minus 0.05, 0.01 and 0.99, this would basically take care of, at these particular time intervals, the animation is going to do something, okay? So over here, we're basically jumping. The animation is basically jumping from one, time frame to another time frame. It's basically keyframes. And at the bottom, what you're saying is the entire animation, right, should last 2.5 units or 1.5 units. So basically, when you wrap two different divs, the outer one would take care of your exit animation, which is basically, again, exit doesn't have anything written to it, so it'll stay as opacity 1. That's exit by default. Initial will take care of how the initial state of the component should be, which is basically opacity 0. Animate will take care of how to animate it. Okay, whereas fade in 1, you would use the tap into the actual object that you've written over here. Okay, so you have two divs and you want to wrap them inside this. You can vary the parameters here, and you can not just make fade in, but you can make, say, slide in from on top, or like slide in from the bottom, fade in from the left, fade in from the right, or flip, or like I don't know, the shrink, grow. There's like so many different types of animations. You guys can look at the entire library, and if you're wondering where you can find the entire library, it'll be on this website, framer.com/motion. This is the entire library that gives you like production ready animation, an animation API. You can use this with not just React, but with Vue.js, AngularJS, React Native, any JavaScript framework. You can just plug and play with this API. So if you check out the API, they have like multiple different options on the left, and they have perfect documentation for all of it on the right. So no matter which one you want, you can have different types of animations. You can have, say, for instance, let's go to gestures. Under gestures, you have something called animation helpers. There should usually be an output. I don't see the output. Let's go to examples instead. Yeah. So you have multiple different animations, right? If I replay this animation, you can see that it grows. You can do this using these particular parameters. If you go down, you can have like an animation that looks like this: a square turning into a circle and then growing and shrinking. So you can have all of that by using these parameters, and you have a really nice looking app bar. It's more like a drawer actually. So you click on this and then it animates the entire drawers opening and closing. You can do this. You can also have a hover thingy, so you can move your mouse and it'll automatically grow and shrink. And you can have drag, so you can use your mouse to drag. And you have motion values. This I think would require a sandbox, so let's just leave this out for now. This one, okay, this will have to open it in the sandbox. No. So if you look at the side, we have a little, what do you call this, little progress bar, right? So as the user keeps scrolling down the page, the progress bar kind of fills up, and as you scroll back up, it kind of like goes back all the way down to 0. That's basically what you can do with Framer motion. Whole bunch of options. I'm just going to link this. I'm just going to copy the link for this and paste it in the React chat. You guys can check this out if in case you're interested in using this for your project. You can use that link. You can try and experiment with it. There's plenty of tutorials on YouTube on more advanced animation. There's documentation, there's code examples on GitHub, Stack Overflow. You guys can refer stuff and you can make even more complicated animations. What I showed you is just a very simple animation, right? All you got to do is when you come to this page newly, it's going to fade in. That's all that's going to happen with this, okay? You guys can experiment with this and build really complex animations if you want to. But that's all I wanted to show you for today, okay? You guys ready to move on to the next part? Or if you're done, you got in the output. React to my message if you guys have all completed it up until here. You got in the output and you're ready to move on to the next bit. If we use it in production environment, do we need to mention them now? No, you don't have to mention them. I don't think you'll have to mention them because this is supposed to be open source. Let's see. I don't think
ஓப்பன்
you'll have
சோர்ஸ் தான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பேஜ்லயே போட்டிருக்காங்கண்ணா.
to. Okay, okay. Then you don't have to mention them. Alright, 24 ready. What about the others? You guys are up to date on everything. 25, 26. Okay, good. 27. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to open a website on your browser. This website is going to be called versal.com, okay? VERCEL.com, okay? I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste it in the chat. All of you open versal.com, and once you've done that, react to my message, okay? Open versal.com, click on the link in the chat, open it, and then react to my message, okay? All of you open the website. If you open the website, it should look like this. This is what it looks like by default, okay? So I'm going to wait for all of you to get on the website. I'm going to show you how to do this step by step. I trust that all of you have a GitHub account, right? All of you have a GitHub account ready to be used. Alright, here's what I want you to do. In case you guys don't know how to use GitHub, I'm not going to teach you how to use GitHub. I'm just going to show you really quick, okay? Just open GitHub. You see this little button here that says new, right? On the left side, you see a little button. Okay, all of you open GitHub first and then react to my message. Open GitHub and react to my message. We're going to be creating a new repository. Don't do anything. Don't jump the gun. Don't skip ahead. Wait for my instructions. All of us should do it together, because if one of you goes ahead and gets stuck, then I can't. It'll be a mess. So just don't do anything really quick. Even if you know the entire process, just wait and do it with the others, okay? '23. Make it faster, guys. Open GitHub, sign into GitHub, and then wait on your homepage. '27. Okay, here's what I want you to do. Click on the little new button that you see on the left side, and it should take you to a page that says create a new repository, okay? Over here, I want you to type in the name of your application. I call mine the notebook. You guys can call yours whatever you want, but put some name in, the name of your application. Just type it in there. Don't use best practice would be to not use uppercase or camel case anywhere. Instead, go fully lowercase and use hyphens to separate words. That's like the best way to name your repository, okay? So just do that. I'm gonna say test, okay? I'm gonna say test because I already have a repository created for my project. If you guys are doing it from scratch, just create a repository, okay? Call it test. Call it the name of your application. I'm calling it test. And at the bottom, you can do either public or private. It's your wish. So I'm just gonna set mine to private for now. And if you scroll down, you should see a button called create repository, right? Just click on that button. All you gotta do is type in the name. You can either set it to public or private, whichever, that's your choice. And at the bottom, click on create repository. It should create a repository and then take you to a page that looks like this, okay? Once that is done, please react to my message. React to my message once you finish creating a repository. '26, '27. Come on, make it faster, guys. Alright, now what I want you to do is you're gonna go back to your VS Code, and inside VS Code we have all of our code written, right? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to open the terminal or the command line inside VS Code. Let's just clear this up. And I want you to type a few get commands inside this, okay? I know you can do it through the VS Code extension on the left side here on VS Code, but it's good that you guys learn how to use the command line with GitHub, because if you move on to like say server administration, or you're working with VMs or like web servers and stuff like that, it would be good for you if you know the commands to type into the command line, okay? So first thing we're going to do is we're going to type in a command called get add space dot, okay? Get space add space dot, okay? Just do that and hit enter. You should get you may not have an output, you may have an output, but at the end of it, it should automatically add all of your files for staging, okay? Just do get add dot, okay? Once you've done that, react to my message. (12, 13, 14). Super easy command, guys. You don't have to do anything with this. Just do get add dot. Remember, the steps that I'm giving you now is only for a React application. This is not for any regular programming project, because with other programming projects you'd have to do git init and stuff, whereas with this you just would do get add dot, because React applications come with GitHub support built into it, so you don't have to initialize git or anything. You can directly do just get add dot, and we should be good to go. 19, make it faster, guys. All you gotta do is run one command inside your project repo as the name of a cmdlet function script file. Okay, Vishnu Simhar, you haven't installed GitHub. I mean, you haven't installed git scm. Go to git scm dot, well, let me see. Git scm.com and install GitHub, download for Windows and install Git on your computer. After which you'll have to sign in with GitHub. The others, have you gotten it? 21 people have gotten it. Who else? Git-scm.com, yeah, that's the one. 21 people have gotten it. What about the others? Anybody else stuck? 22. 23, good. 24. Make it faster, guys. Are you guys stuck? Let me know, or I'm just gonna move on to the next step. Okay, since you guys are not asking me, I'm just gonna go move on to the next step. Next, what I want you to do is inside your VS Code, I want you to type in a command, git commit, okay? Git commit, hit enter, and it should open up a file in VS Code itself. So all you have to do is just select all of these lines that are in blue and hold down the keys Control, K, and U. Sorry. Control, K, and U, okay? Just hold on those three keys. Select all the lines to bulk uncommented and hold on the keys Control, K, U. In case you haven't, in case that doesn't work, you'll have to manually uncomment every line, okay? Control K U. Just hold on those three keys after selecting the lines, okay? All of you done? React to my message once you've uncommented all those lines. For some of you, it might open in some other application, maybe WordPad or whatever. But just make sure you uncomment all the lines under the line changes to be committed. Just uncomment all these lines, okay? I'm repeating it again. All these will have a hashtag in front of it, all these lines. Select all those lines. Hold down the keys Control K U. On macOS, I think it should be Command KU. If you do that, it should uncomment multiple lines simultaneously. Just get that done really quick. Ten people have uncommented. What about the others? Are you guys stuck? You guys ask me if you have a problem. Don't take too long. If you're stuck, ask me. Don't just sit there and... Guys, it was a simple operation. 25 of you reacted to the previous message, which means 25 of you have git installed and everything. All you had to do was just do git commit and then uncomment these lines. Okay, I'm gonna call out names now since you guys are not answering. Aaron, done. Shirley Christabel, okay.
Just a second, Anna.
Yeah.
I'll show.
Okay. Shirley, which program did it open in?
Anna?
Which program did this file open in?
I didn't open any file now. I closed everything like in a project file now.
This file that you're looking at, it says changes to be committed and you sent a screenshot, right? Why did you get this output?
அண்ணா விம்ல ஓபன் பண்ணுதுண்ணா git commit அப்படின்னு போட்டோம் அப்படின்னா.
Who's this? Vim யார் வச்சிருக்கா?
தெரியலண்ணா git commitன்னு இதுல போட்டோம் அப்படின்னா விம்ல அதுக்குள்ளேயே ஓபன் பண்ணிக்குதுண்ணா.
Okay, even if it opens inside Vim, I'll tell you the command to uncomment. Give me a sec.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, if you guys have it like that, then just manually uncomment each line. Just go to each line manually and uncomment them. That'll be the easiest. By the time I teach you guys how to do a bulk uncomment in Vim, it'll take at least half an hour. Guys, if you have a hashtag in front of each line, you have only like a couple of files, right? It's not many files. Just go and place your cursor in front of each hashtag and delete them manually. That's the easiest way for you guys to do it now. I can't teach you how to use Git from scratch here. Jennifer, you don't have Git installed on your computer. You should have installed Git from git-sem.com. Just go to the website, download. Okay. So after installing, what you have to do is you need to close. You need to basically destroy the terminal instance and then start over again. It would have been. It should have gotten written to your environment variables, and you'll have to restart any instance of the command line in order for it to take effect. Kill the command line, and if you're using normal regular CMD, just close CMD fully, and then open it again, and then try the same thing. The others, all of you finish uncommenting it manually. Can you please delete your screenshots that you've sent so I can look at the count on top?
இப்போ நான் மேனுவலாக லைக் டெலிட் பண்ணிட்டேன் பட் லைக் எனக்கு நான் வந்து டெர்மினல் ஏதோ ஓப்பன் ஆயிருக்கு ஸோ அதில் திருப்பி போய் அது அடுத்த ஸ்டெப் என்ன பண்ணும்?
You sound like Terminator. Like, check your microphone. Fourteen people got it. Okay. Ironic, what you sent is correct. You finished uncommenting them, right? Just that's how it's done. Just leave it as it is. Save the file.
Okay.
You have to do git add space dot, Jennifer. Git add space dot. $17 people got it. Okay, good. $18 got it. After creating Git, what to do? What do you mean after creating Git? After creating the Git repository? Go to your command line inside VS Code. Type in the command git space add space dot, hit enter. After that, type the command git space commit, hit enter, and it should open a file with a bunch of file names with a hashtag in front of it. So delete all the hashtags in front of the file names. After that, save the file and close it. Once you save the file and close it, the command line should automatically tell you what the changes are. Just do up until this, and then wait for me. Who else has problems with your Git? 11 people have problems. Let me see. 20. Okay. No file gets opened. Jay Surya. Not a Git repository or any of the parent directories. Are you sure that your tutorial is inside? I mean, your code is inside. Your React project is inside that folder. React tutorial 1. Okay, Jay Surya, what you do is, yeah, that's exactly what I want you to do. Go to each line, delete the hashtag in front of each file name.
In which file now?
The one that you're looking at right now. The terminal, right?
Anna, how to save the changes that we made, like after uncommenting?
I think the command is Control X inside the command line. Not sure. Give me a second.
Okay. No.
Oh, sorry.
Actually, you
Control
want me
Z.
to delete those?
It's Control
Okay.
Z.
Now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Who is this? The other person?
Jay Suryana.
Yeah. What is
Actually, you
your question?
want me to delete those hashtags in front of the
Yeah, in front of the file
word
names.
modifier.
In front of the file names. Yeah.
I couldn't edit that now.
Okay. I think your terminal is just read only. Wait, let's see what you can do. Who's this Anand? Or we can do one thing instead. Instead, you guys can watch, and what I'll do is I'll show you how the hosting is done. Once you figure out how the hosting is done, we'll have breakout rooms, and you guys can fix your Git errors individually. We can split, and then we can work on them, right? Because it's only like 10, 11 of you have problems with it. So all of you ready to do the hosting, actual hosting? You can figure out the Git problems on your own afterwards. Or we'll have breakout rooms and figure them out. For now, let's just continue with the rest of the stuff that I've planned for today. You guys ready? React to my message if you're ready. Just look at the stuff that I'm doing, and follow the exact same steps. If you go on YouTube, you can see the same thing later on. So you can figure out how to do the Git part, and once the Git part is done, you can continue the rest later on from YouTube, or if it's super easy, you can do it from memory. It's not a big deal. $17. Come on, guys, all you have to do is look at the screen, and I'll show you what you have to do. Don't do anything else. Just pause what you're doing for now. I need all of you to pay attention. 18. Come on, guys, the rest of you. 12. Okay, I'm just gonna start. Once that is done, I'm going to do git push. This isn't the command that you would have to do, okay? There's a couple of steps in between. I'll let you guys figure it out on your own, okay? But I already have a repository, so I've pushed it to that repository. Once that is done, I'll show you the part from Vercel, okay? From Vercel. All you gotta do is go to vercel.com and click on login and continue with GitHub, okay? It's gonna show another pop-up that asks me to sign in with GitHub. Let's go to my browser really quick, and once you sign in with GitHub, it'll take you to a page that looks like this. If you look at the top right corner, it says new project, right? Click on new project, and over here it's going to ask me which project or which repository I want to convert into a hosted project. So if you look over here, it says the notebook, right? 3 days ago it says the notebook. Okay, this is a little mistake. It says 3 days ago. It shouldn't say 3 days ago for me. Okay. Okay, so once you click on your new one is test, but I didn't push anything to test. I already have this repository on a different Git repo thingy. The testing was just to show you how to create a new repository. So my thing is old anyway. Let me just check once more. Yeah, so once that is done, I want you to click on personal account. There'll be an option that asks you if you want to use your personal account or a team account. Click on personal account, which is free, and once you select that, it's going to ask you for a name of the project, and it'll already detect it as create React application. Leave all of this as it is. On the build and output settings, I want you to click on override and there's a small command that you'll have to type in. Give me 1 sec, let me figure out what that command is. Settings, and yep. So that setting would be CI equals empty pair of single quotes npm run build. You don't have to get into the details here. I'm just gonna paste that command into the chat. You guys will have to click on the override button and paste that in and click on deploy. Once you do that, it should automatically start the deployment, and on the left side you can see that the deployment is it's more like a command line thingy. Okay, you guys can look at it in real time, the entire deployment. Just give that like 2 minutes and it should build automatically. Yeah, so my deployment is done and it should show me a success message. Right, so now what happens is you have a little blue button here, right? You can click on the blue button and it'll take you to a URL on Vercel, and I would have my entire application running on the cloud. So you can share this URL with anybody you want, and once you do that, it's going to basically anybody can access the application. It's fully free and you can use it with certain limitations, but you'll never run out of those limitations. Okay, so that's basically how you host it on Vercel. One more problem: if you guys click on the little sign in button, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to sign you in. Does anybody know why? Can anybody guess why? Let me ask Rohan Jabaraj, are you here? Yep, can you unmute yourself? Or if you can't talk, I'll ask somebody else then. Varshini, are you here? Oh wait, no.
Yes, sir.
No, never mind. I'll ask somebody who already knows this stuff already. Let's go with, say, Justin then. You tell me. Do you have any idea why if I click on sign in with Google, nothing happens?
Is it CORS? CORS?
Yeah, exactly. CORS. Okay, so you guys have to know there's a small concept called CORS. Let's not get into what CORS is, but basically what happens is this URL, right? This URL that your app is running on is not allowed to connect to the whole Firebase thingy. So what you have to do is you have to go into Firebase, into the Firebase console. So go to firebase@google.com, go to your console, and select which project you're using. And under your projects, if you go to authentication and sign-in method, and you scroll to the bottom, you have this little section here that called authorized domains, right? Over here, you'll have to add the domain that your app is running on. So I'll go back and I'll copy this URL and come back here and paste it in. And once you do that, just click on add, and it should have been added. So once it gets added, you can go back to your site, hit the sign in with Google button, give it a second, it should automatically detect it. Right, so once that is done, you can sign in with Google now. And your app should entirely run on the Vercel cloud. Right, so this, I'm gonna create some dummy text here, let's say. Create. Nope. probably run into some error. Let's see. I think ran into some error probably. But if you guys head over to my other alternate thingy that I hosted, let's see, what is this? Early this morning, I had hosted the same application on a different URL, so I'm just going to show you what that looks like. So if you head over to the Vercel domain, sign in with Google is already signed in, and you have all your notes here. So you can create new notes on the cloud, save, refresh the page, and that should show up, right? So you guys can host all of your applications on Vercel for free, and all you got to do is, if you're using some service like Firebase, you need to take the URL that you're hosting it on and add it as an authorized domain. Once you do that, you can just host it for free. The good thing is that if I go into my file, into my project here, and if I make any changes to my code, all I have to do is git commit and git push. Sorry, git add dot, git commit and git push. If I do those 3 commands, it'll automatically get pushed to Vercel. Vercel will automatically build a new version of my website, and it'll publish it online. So as in when you make changes and push to GitHub, the latest version will automatically be available on Vercel. So you guys don't have to like host it on Vercel each time. That will automatically happen. That's what's known as CI/CD, or continuous integration, continuous deployment. That's all there is to this whole hosting thing. So you guys have to figure out GitHub. That I didn't realize it would be this complicated for some of you. So most of you have it installed already, so you know what the steps are, right? All you got to do is just push to GitHub, connect it to Vercel, and it'll automatically deploy. Those of you juniors, freshmen who don't have Git on your computers and who are new to this, it'll take you a while to get used to it. So I would suggest that we either have breakout rooms and figure out how to work this out, or you guys can look up YouTube videos and figure out how to make Git work for you. Once that is done, it's just a matter of following along the video that the YouTube video that is live right now. So if you do that, you should be good to go. What we'll do now is we will have a small session where we can review the sheets. So let's go back to the browser. I'm going to open the Excel sheet, and you guys are going to show me how you have formed teams and what features you're going to add to your applications. That this should do for the YouTube stream, I guess. So